great day today. I don't know if you can tell on the video, on the photos, there's like a yellow haze. So there's a bad forest fire in the mountains. So today, instead of toasting to you, I actually want to toast to the energies and call to them to send our blessings to those being displaced by the fire. Just be with them and provide them the strength that they need. Forest fires are scary. Hopefully they get it contained. Anyway, so it's always weird as the dark moon gets closer because my guides, my energies, the spirits, everything, I just kind of get more things coming my way. And this morning I literally walked into a huge spider web. I felt so bad. She's the one that lives on my husband's car, and she had built a web between our cars, and I didn't even see it. I was going to the mailbox, beeline right through it. Huge web. And then I was watering the tomatoes just now, and there was another one, and she's out there on the tomatoes. I showered her, so she's cleaning. I made a little video. I shared it on Twitter. You can go look. And so they're just kind of in my face, and then I'm getting these messages and feelings and thoughts and all of that stuff, and then I wasn't sure what I was going to make a video on today, so I was like, well, there's something coming. And then I saw a video from this awesome lady about labels and working with ancestors and blah blah blah, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't need to make another labels video, but I do need to make a video about our ancestors, about communicating with the ancestors and the spirits. And I hear a kid coming. Hold on. Okay, so working with your ancestors, talking to your ancestors, to ancestors in general, to other spirits, calling to gods of different whatever. Okay, so I am a firm believer that it is only in this reality, in this physical world, in this being, this presence, where we really define the lines of race and color and culture and all of those different things. Okay? Your soul does not have a race or a culture or a color or a gender or any of those things. Your soul is just the ball of energy that has collected to create you. And this collection of energy that is unique to you, and I mean, I guess I could go off on tangents on the theories of twins and identical and non and blah, 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 and all of those different things. But let's keep it simple. Your soul is really unique to you. It is yours. It is your energy. When they say you found your soulmate or your soul kin, these are people who have influenced your soul in previous experiences, previous lives, previous past lives, previous transitions, previous existences. In the physical reality that we are in now, we cannot even begin to encompass the idea of what all of this energy is, of the divine energy that created the cosmos and the world spinning and all of the things that comes right down to the tiny, minuscule, itty-bitty, teeny parts of the individual atoms that make up each molecule that are made up by protons and electrons and neutrons and it's amazing. Okay, so all the way down to that level, all the way to the grandest level, we cannot begin to really see this energy. Okay, so then that makes it really hard to see the energy of your soul and for what it like truly is this grander thing. It is not, right now it's confined into this physical being, and then when I die I will transcend into something new, and depending on where I'm at in my transcendence, who knows where that will be. I don't believe that this will be my last life. Definitely. I don't feel like I've reached some state of guru. But as your soul makes these transitions and transcends and experiences, it goes through being different cultures and different races and different identities and different perspectives. Maybe you're an animal or a plant or a whatever, or who knows. because we can't contemplate that in this shell. Because can you imagine if you in this body could contemplate all of the lives that you've lived before and all of that energy, it would make this experience much different. You wouldn't get the joy for a lot of the things that we do for the first time, and experiencing them as something new. A lot of the it would not allow you to experience life in the new beauty it is in this reality. So, say in my last life I was a man, that's a much different life than this life. Say that in one of my lives I lived in Africa, that's a much different life than this life. So each one of these lives adds a different set of experiences to your overall soul. And as you learn and experience and transcend and move forward, that energy accumulates on your soul. Now, these spirit guides and our ancestors and those who are in a state of transcendence or have transcended to a point where now they're just hanging out in spirit form or however that all works, those people, those souls, those energies, entities, are not confined by their physical presence. So, say you're calling to your ancestors. Yes, your physical ancestors from this life will come to you, but they also bring with them all of the experiences that they have experienced throughout life, in each one of their lives. So they not only bring the ancestral wisdom of your ancestors, but of the ancestors that they have worked with throughout each one of their lives. So they are like an accumulation of all of these experiences. Hello, crop duster. Soon it'll be done with all of that. And who knows what they'll be spraying for next. Anyways. So when we call to our ancestors, and you're like, you could call to your ancestors, okay? That's like an oxymoron almost. I feel like you can't just call to your ancestors, because your ancestors are not. Yes, however, there are some people who are born from family line and reborn to family line. I have a very close friend of the family. She was born at the same moment that her great-great-grandmother passed, and she actually died during birth, and there was like some weirdness happened, and then now she literally looks exactly like her great-great-grandma. There are mannerisms and different odd things that her family was like, wow, you're just like her, even though you died, or she died the day you were born, blah, blah, blah. So some of her soul transcended into, or maybe it is, or who knows how that all worked out. But, so, that does happen. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but it's more likely to happen that you are born into a new existence. I know that in a past life I was an African American slave and a little girl, and it's a pretty traumatic past life regression. So I don't go there very often, and by I mean seriously traumatic, and it's a work in progress, and eventually I'll be able to experience more of that past life. I've had another past life where several where I were men, and each time I begin to work with a past life, it's very interesting, because it's not like watching a movie where you're like, oh, these are things that happened. You connect with feelings and experiences that held significant influence on the soul of that existence, in that existence. And so when you go back to those moments, like being the little slave girl it's a really traumatic moment, and going to that experience and experiencing it as like a 12 or 13-year-old girl is emotionally overwhelming. And I experienced it as though I was in that moment. And so the fear and the panic and the misunderstanding that I was already experiencing in that moment are amplified by the fact that I'm having these feelings and I don't understand what's going on because I come in the middle of a situation and I'm like, bam! And then it's super overwhelming. I'm like, this is too much. I can't be here. Tap out. And then come back. So these experiences really do affect your soul. And when you connect with them, you're connecting with that. Okay, so then when you pass in your spirit entities or you're communicating with your spirit entities, like I said, they're bringing on all of these different experiences to share with you. Okay, now that that's kind of ranty, I guess it hasn't been that long. Good. Okay. It's important that we realize this when we're working with our ancestors. And all of these lines that we've defined as like, so in the video I was watching today, she says that she was working with a client who was from Haiti, and she included some voodoo into her practice to help this client because this is what the client needed. But she did it in a respectful way, and the gods presented themselves. The Papa, oh, see, I'm so bad with names. Anyways, he came to their ritual and he was like, "I'm here. Let me help you remove this curse. Let's do this dance." And I feel like that's something that we all need to kind of accept and move on in forward. Like, when we get caught up thinking, "Oh, I could never call to a voodoo god because," or see, oh my god, I lost the word again. It came to my brain. There's a word, Orishna. Oh, no, see, I'm sure I've got it wrong. Anyways, so in a lot of voodoo like voodoo or voodoo type practices, where they work with the possession of spirits, you're not always being possessed by the divine, but sometimes you're being possessed by their mid-level, kind of like half gods, medians, midway spirits. But you get possessed by these spirits and then they help you communicate and they become your bridge. And so when you're calling to these energies, they again are bringing their experience from all of these different lives, and they're going to come to you as you need to see them. I love watching the Vietnamese practices that are very similar to voodoo, where they are possessed by ancestors and deities and whatnot. And the priestesses and priests that take on these possessions, the moment you see the moment that they are possessed, because their entire body changes and they manifest this new energy, and this new energy brings the answers to the people and answers the questions and all that stuff. Those energies are available all over. Everybody at some point has some kind of connection to these different ancestors. I mean, when you think about it being a web of ever-connectedness, for every life that you've lived in a different culture, you bring those different cultural experiences. And then when you call on your ancestors, each one of them bring on those cultural experiences and then those cultural experiences. And it becomes this ever-connected web. And the more you plug into that web, the more connected you become, the easier it is to communicate with these energies and to use their experiences to help you make better choices and move forward and use that energy to do right and whatever it is that you're looking for. But if you are caught up on this idea, I can only call to this specific thing because this is what I'm related to, well, you're not going to find very many ancestors or spirits or energies that are so disconnected that they are only this one thing. Oh, somebody is bumping some music. Can you hear that? They're like a block away. Anyways. So you can tap into all these different energies. You're not going to find one that's like so secluded and unplugged that they are just this thing. There are those energies. They are things that are specific. I can't think of any that would be super pertinent right off the top of my brain, but I imagine that there are far-reaching energies that are so specific, that's all that they are. And they are meant to be that way, like an anchor, north, universal energies, different kind of thing. And that's so far off the beaten path that this is only where it is, and that's the only way to find it, and so be it. But don't get caught up in the idea that you can only call to your specific ancestors. Your family came from Germany, you can only call to Germanic deities. You came from whatever, you can only call to this. That is not how it works. The divine, the spirits, they're so interwoven and interconnected that I imagine they look down upon us with laughter, and they're like, oh, I remember in the life I lived where I was part of that racist idea, where I was a bigot, or where I experienced this. And they laugh at us like small children, and they pat us on the head, and they're like, oh, you're so cute with your bigotry, someday you'll outgrow that. Let's do it faster than later. Let's stop that cycle specifically. But I don't think that they hold on to that in that next transcended state. That just seems so petty, and I don't understand. Like, that's ridiculous. And so your ancestors and the divine and the spirits and the energies and the entities and all of that stuff, even Jesus doesn't hold on to these ideas of draw the line and them and us and they and all of that, and it can only be like this, and you can only worship. That's a physical in this world control, lust, greed, things that we are striving for in this world. Is like, oh, I need this. I need this to be for me. And that's silly. You don't need this just for you. We need to experience this as a community, as a whole, as a world. And we all need to go forth and experience and learn and share experiences and have respect for each other and grow. That way, as a universal energy, we can grow. Because what if this universe is just one universal energy and a plethora of universal energies? Like one... Okay, we're not going to go there. Anyways, before I go off on another crazy tangent about the evolution of our souls and this universal energy and all of these cosmic things, just keep in mind that your purpose in this place and in this time is to experience life as it is to go out with respect and learn and experience and interact with other people and learn and experience. And that's it. Not to hate or to draw lines. If you're drawing lines, there's not things you're going to experience. When you draw a line, you're like, you cut off your own experiences. Those people over there are still experiencing, and you're getting left out. You put up a fence to keep yourself in, not to keep others out, because that's ridiculous. I mean, that's what fences do. They actually just keep you in. It's not about keeping other things out. So let's take down those fences. Let's take off these crazy rules that are like, you can only call to this god because that's the god that's the same color as your skin. That's some baloney. That's just racism feeding over into a new form of racism. Instead, let's have some respect for each other. Let's treat each other with common courtesy. Let's, experience life together and learn from each other and communicate and open up lines of conversation to where we're learning from each other, not pushing our thoughts on each other. Even that Jesus said, don't judge other people. That's not our place. He stood in front of the church. He said, stop giving your money to these greedy people. That's not what the church is about. The church is about helping. Take your money to help these poor, sick children here. Take your money to go do something right by the community. Build yourself a farm that you can help to support generations. Let's stop hating. And I think even, all of the good prophets of all of the different religions, they all taught the same thing. And it's crazy that we in this physical body take those words and we turn it into some disgusting stuff that makes it filled with hate. And that is not what these people wanted. That is not what those energies wanted. When they spoke their truth to the world, like, Jesus looks down upon the earth with disgust, I'm sure. Mohammed looks down upon this earth with disgust. All of these energies that had transcended to a place of greater understanding before their time and could share that energy with the world and tell everybody, Buddha, all of these, they're like, God, these people, when are they going to get this learn. I thought we taught this 2,000 years ago. I thought we taught this 5,000 years ago. I thought we taught this 10,000 years ago. Okay? Preaching the same lessons, guys. I'm going to preach them here. They're telling me to tell you, stop drawing the lines. Stop putting these crazy labeling rules down that say you can only practice in this way with these people, because that's bigotry. Whether you want it to admit it or not, that's what it is. If you can't come to somebody with respect and be like, you have the most beautiful divine energies and I want to learn more about them, that should be welcomed. Let me teach you something. You know, it shouldn't be a line drawn in the sand like, oh, you can only practice this if you look like this, or you sound like this, or you dress like that. That's nonsense. Let's love each other. Let's have respect for each other. Let's experience life together in the beauty that it is, and let the energies come to us in the way that they need to come to us, so that we can share in that experience. We can share those experiences with other people, and we can grow as individuals, as a society, as a universal energy, all of the above. So I challenge you to go out today and learn something beautiful about another culture, about another people, about a divine energy, about whatever it is. Even if you just pick up the Bible and read some of what they say Jesus said. I don't think they got it all wrong, but they definitely... So, just do it. See what's going on. Pick up a Quran and actually read it. Don't assume that the extremists that you see on the news are what the Quran is actually preaching. I think that every single person would be surprised who's never picked up a Quran, would be shocked to read what the Quran says. So go pick up a Quran and read it. It's good. Expand your brain. Learn something new. Read about a different religion. Read about a different God. Do something to open up your world to new experiences. So, with that said, I toast to all of you. Let's move forward, removing all of these lines in the sand, and let's do something good by us. Blessed be.